Well, hello, welcome back to another fun-filled episode of my so-called Xennial life. And now we're going to be dealing with the wonderful world of the internet. And as you might remember from past episode, particularly What is Xennial, the very first episode I ever made, the internet was definitely part of most Xennials' upbringing. I was a teenager when the internet really started becoming popular. Now, for this one, I'm going to focus on the one that I think brought the internet mainstream, at least in America anyway. America Online, aka AOL.
Every day, America Online is making it a little easier for people to live, work, and play. With point-and-click access to instant news and sports, financial updates, online magazines, shopping and travel, and easy access to the internet. Call now for America Online, a new way to use your computer to communicate and have fun.
Call 1-800-248-3100 now for your free America Online Startup Kit with free software and 10 free online hours. It's everything you need to get online. Call now.
Now, before I go in about the early days of America Online and how my family came to use it, I'm going to give you a little bit of a Wikipedia definition and a little bit of Wikipedia history right now. AOL, or America Online, is an American web portal and online service provider based in New York City. The service traces its history to an online service known as PlayNet. PlayNet licenses software to Quantum Link, who went online in November of 1985. Just wanted to let you know that the internet has been around since the 80s, not the 90s. Anyway, a new IBM PC client launched in 1988, eventually renamed as America Online in 1989. AOL grew to become the largest online service, displacing established players like CompuServe and The Source. By 1995, AOL had about 3 million active users. So when my family got a PC, we eventually got AOL, and I want to say it was probably about 94, 95, which I think is when it really went mainstream. And from what I remembered, at the time, you did not pay monthly. Actually, you don't really pay for it now, but you didn't pay monthly. It was hourly, and I believe it was $3 an hour. So at my home, when we had this big-ass PC, which was in the living room, if we wanted to use the computer, we had to throw $3 into a jar. We could be on America Online for about an hour. That's if... The problem was, it was dial-up service. Dial-up service is really not widely used anymore. Everybody's so used to Wi-Fi and everything. So when you signed onto AOL, you got the thing that almost all Gen Xers and Xennials remember, the dial-up tone. Here it is right now. So it was often brought at kind of like a little bit of anxiety because, as in my household at least, we had a time limit. It was like an hour, but because it was dial-up, you weren't necessarily guaranteed you were going to get through the first time or the second time or sometimes even the third time. And then if somebody picks up the phone, you get disconnected and then you had to start all over again. Now at the time, 94, 95, you had to be very careful which phone number you had to use because Rhode Island was a small state, Now, everybody nowadays, you can call anywhere in the United States for a flat fee, whether it's on your cell phone or I actually have a landline, one of the few people that still has a landline. But back then, you called the right area in Rhode Island, you get a long distance charge. I think we had to dial Providence, but we had to be careful of other areas because, you get a list. There'll be like in the sign up screen, you click something below where you sign in and it gives you phone numbers that you can try. And we had to be careful which phone number because if it was a long distance one, it was a lot more expensive. So, and of course the speed was extremely slow, but it was very fun. It was my first time I did use Instant Messenger, where it's kind of like, I don't know, I'm trying to compare it to nowadays, like Facebook Messenger or something like that. That would be a kind of like an equivalent, but you can instantly message people and talk. And used to have a lot of chat rooms. There'll be like various selections. They had the main chat rooms, and I would go into one of those. It'd be like the main chat rooms, and then there would be another section where you click and you can get like personalized chat rooms. And Rhode Island had one. And I've actually did meet a few people off of the internet, and I had no problem doing it. I still do that. I meet a lot of people off the internet, whether it's from Instagram, Facebook, or other sources. Now, AOL was like probably one of the reasons it became so big. It was widely available. You can go to a store, any store, particularly I would say mostly like related to movies and electronics. You can get one for free, and sometimes they just mail it out to you. Probably because AOL got most of their advertising through fee. I do remember eventually they did a monthly fee. I want to say it was like $19.99. Instead of just saying $20, you say $19.99 because people think it sounds cheaper, whenever actually it's only a penny difference. And I remembered when that first happened, people couldn't quite. People were going on a lot more, and the services really couldn't handle all these people going online. And I remembered we were having a far more difficult time. And, especially like I said, because it was a dial-up, if you couldn't just get on, trying to get on and on and on and on, and then your mom's like, get off the phone, I need to call somebody, or your dad's like, get off the phone now because I said so and stuff. Plus, in the early days, the websites nowadays are very elaborate. Back then, it was very simple, just maybe a couple words. The thing I often looked up the most when I wasn't chatting to people was, stuff about, video games. I had a Super Nintendo at the time, and I eventually did get a PlayStation. I would look up codes and stuff like that, because before the internet, you had to really like guess, if you like Mortal Kombat 2. When I was in high school, about 92, 93, you pretty much had to guess, or people would tell you the fatalities and stuff like that. So when we had AOL, it was great. Now, I do remember the big thing where AOL actually merged or was brought out by Time Warner. I remember that was the big news thing. Well, like I said, I remember it happening, and people at school I remembered were talking about it. But it was just something I didn't really pay much attention about it. I just knew, and I remember at the time Time Warner was pretty big, so the idea that AOL joined up, that was a big thing at the time. But believe me when I say, back in the '90s and say maybe early 2000s, it was a relatively big online service. I think it was the one that really brought the internet to the masses. It was very easy. You had all these little like search bars and links to various things about shopping and hobbies and the news and stuff like that. But as we all now know, everybody uses Google now. There might be some other services people use, and AOL is still around, but it's not nearly as popular. I still have an AOL account. I've had this AOL account for 15, 20 years maybe, and I still use it. I used to use it a lot for, when you had to sign up for things, or when you go anything from a doctor to cars or whatever, always ask for your email. And I used to give my AOL, but then eventually I began there was a joke on TV one time, and I wish I can remember the name of it. It was a short-lived comedy show, and they made sort of like a comment about poor people being stuck using AOL. And at that moment, I realized, yeah, AOL is just not popular anymore. I mean, they got rid of, it wasn't too long ago, maybe a couple of years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, they got rid of Instant Messenger, they got rid of the chat rooms. So none of that shit exists anymore, so there's really no point in going on AOL. I mean, they probably lost to, I think it was said particularly what really damaged America Online was probably Facebook. But now you have other services too. And dating apps really did it too. Because I will tell you straightforward, and this is no secret, but America Online was also used, people use America Online for a booty call, gay, straight, whatever, like that. And I might have done that myself once, twice, maybe 4, 10 times. But anyway, people were using it for hookups. to each their own. I shouldn't judge for obvious reasons. But now you can use pretty much America Online for free because, there's all these advertisements and stuff like that. And I still use my old email, but I mainly use Gmail now. And I believe it or not, I actually use another archaic online service, Yahoo, which maybe one day I'll talk about Yahoo. I grew up with these AOL and Yahoo, and I still have my emails with them. And then it's like, nobody really uses them anymore. It's either Gmail, I think Live. There's another one and stuff like that. Gmail's the big one, obviously. But I still kind of keep AOL because there is sort of like this nostalgic connection, because you get to choose your own screen names. I had various ones. Dark Devil Blood was one I remembered I have. Drive Shaft was another one. That was sort of given to me. And American Antichrist, yeah. I was big into horror and demonic stuff, so, obviously I had some very questionable screen names. But it's part of your personality. The one I use now is Awaz 69. Awaz was sort of like a reference to an angel, and 69 is, well, I was immature back then, so yeah, it was meant to be something sexual, so that's why I also kind of stopped using it, because I was like, yeah, at the time when I did it as a 20-year-old, I thought this was funny. 69 in my name. Now I'm like, yeah, that's really, really, really too immature for me. But yes, the glory days of America Online is gone. I don't know too many people who still use it. Occasionally when I sell stuff on Craigslist or get in contact with people on Facebook who give me their email addresses, I may occasionally get somebody who uses AOL. My roommate, who I did meet through AOL, he still uses his. And I have another buddy, he uses AOL. But other than that, everybody mostly uses Gmail. I have a couple who use Yahoo and Live.com, but nobody really uses AOL anymore. So it's kind of a shame, because it really was sort of like this pop culture thing of the 90s and early 2000s. Now it's been like, not wiped out, but it definitely is just, put on the back burner. Though I did hear that they still have a lot of active users. Just nobody pays for the services anymore. As really shouldn't, because you got other services that are better. But having said that, I thought maybe I will sign on to my AOL and show you what it looks like in 2022, and kind of give you some references of what it used to look like back in ancient times, back in the 90s.
Well, here is what AOL now looks like in 2022. I still got my AOL, and I'm still getting emails left and right. Now, like I said, this is what it looks like now, and you get your news over here, whatever's going on in our sad, dying little world. And of course, you now get tons and tons and tons of advertisements and news links and all that other fun stuff. Now, years ago, when you would sign on, your buddy list would appear somewhere over here. And if somebody instant messaged you while you were offline, it would pop up already. And during the early years of AOL, I think it was somewhere around here, you would get these banners and links to other stuff. This lady drives me nuts. Go away. Oh, go away. Gosh. Boy, this is really good on the news. Fine. Settle for her. So all that's gone. Like I said, there's no more instant messaging. They have all the stuff over here. Like I said, this has been years. I think this is 10.0 or something like that. Like I said, I don't really use it much anymore. Now you click into your my emails and stuff, and this has all changed too. And of course, more advertisements and stuff for news for our sad, dying little world. And then you got your click on here, and you got your emails and stuff. I actually use AOL now for all these sites make you sign up for shit, and I use my AOL now just so it goes there and not block my Gmail. Clog up my Gmail with all this crap that I really don't give a damn about. I mean, I got 43 emails here. Now you got the save mails, and yes, over here saved IMs. They still allow you to keep IMs. Before they shut it down, I think you could have it here. I think it was somewhere over here where you can actually click on to, instant message somebody. But the old way is been long gone. Now, okay, up here was where most of the links and stuff to, and I think it was somewhere in the middle here where now the search bar is. You would click and it would have chat rooms. Like I said, the chat rooms are like long gone. I mean, they've been gone for ages. Probably, like I said, probably lost to Facebook. You'll be here and you click on it, and then this big blue box will pop up right over here, and it would have like the public rooms and then private rooms, and the private rooms would be like anything from like local hookups to games, like stuff about games and movies and stuff. So, like I said, there's not much to see anymore. It's really just, I just use it now to send spam and other shit to an email that I don't give a damn about, and so it doesn't go to the ones I do give a damn about.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's kind of fun talking about America Online, finally going into the internet stuff, trying to really spread it out with like cartoons and everything of what it was growing up to be a Xennial. So, but anyway, you should let me write in the comments about what was your memories with America Online. Did you ever meet somebody from the chat rooms, or did you use the screen name? Did you have very suggestive screen names like I did, or was it just more plain? Do you still use America Online? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, like, subscribe, and share, and see you next time on My So-Called Xennial Life.